Everybody, welcome to a Wednesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show, as I say every day, it's just a show where we talk about sports with comedians. We have a great conversation, and we want you to join in the conversation, too. All you got to do is click that link at the top of the conversation piece on all the social media platforms. But first up, let's talk to a couple of the comics who've been in the game for a very long time. These comics have been around since before Def Comedy Jam. If Def Comedy Jam is your benchmark, they've been in it before that. First up is my man Talent. And Talent, how you doing today, brother?
It's a good day in the neighborhood, man. We finally got a perfect day.
Okay, and it's cloudy up here. Look like you okay, man? You look like I guess he's okay. Fig, how you doing today, brother? How's everything?
Man, it's a good day in the neighborhood. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? Okay. Would you like to be my neighbor?
Your Wi-Fi a little
Next
choppy.
Next up is my man, Mr. Mike Shine.
What's good? Yeah,
it's better now.
Yeah,
what up, Mike?
What's going on, Fig? What's going on, Talent? What's going on, Frank? Everything's lovely right now. And since we're all in the neighborhood, it's a beautiful day in my neighborhood also. Yes, it is.
Frank chopping up. Everybody look good, Frank. You chopping.
Yeah. We gotta get Frank off that dial up.
Frank, what's the matter with your AOL?
He opened his computer and said, "Welcome. You've got mail."
He got that hot mail. I guess today we streaming on MySpace.
And the show ain't on his top 5 friends.
That's hilarious.
Oh man.
Today in the COVID report, Frank's Wi-Fi has COVID.
This computer used to be quarantined by the Geek Squad and a half team.
Update on the COVID report, the new host is named Delta. What the hell? What are we doing?
What the?
Why are comedians a bunch of kids? Why can't we be responsible and just take over? Why can't somebody just lead the show? No.
No idea. Okay, so it looks like
Frank had to take himself out.
Yo, that's funny. That's the first. The fucking host gonna take himself out.
Yo,
talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourself. Cancel culture's out of control when you cancel yourself. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna X myself out this thing. I'm not part of this.
Yo, that's funny as hell, man. That dude is crazy. It happens.
All right, fellas. So, quick question.
It's funny. This is what happens when you borrow your neighbor's Wi-Fi and they don't pay their bill.
Yeah. This what happened when they change the password on your
exactly ass. When they block your ass. You're like, wait a minute, why is this thing spinning? It just keeps spinning.
Like this. Oh man, listen, bro. Well, until he comes back, you know what's crazy is I just finished talking about the Simone Biles thing, because you know you was right, Mike. There's gonna be people out there. You're gonna find some ways to hate on this young girl, man. And I looked at her full interview. I can't blame her, bro. I can't blame. And she said, they said, so no injuries? She said, no injuries. But I know that if my mind ain't right and I get up there, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to hurt myself, and ain't no telling how I'm going to hurt myself.
You know what's funny about that Talent? Because on her first vault, that's exactly what she said. She said she was in the air, and she couldn't figure out where she was. She missed one of the rotations in her routine. Like she was supposed to do like another flip or something, and she didn't realize where she was. And when she landed, like she could have landed on her head. You know, you up there spinning 3-4 times and stuff like that. You never know where you're gonna come down. So man, I don't blame her, man. I don't blame her. And you know what? Here's another thing. To all the people that's criticizing her, you need to be ashamed of yourself. This woman has, I was reading up on her. She has 27 gold medals. And the people criticizing don't even have a gold tooth, let alone gold medal.
Yo,
They got golden grams.
and what's crazy is if you look at everything that she was fighting against when she said she had to use her platform, I didn't know she was one of the people that shut down that whole molestation thing with the training for the gym. I didn't know it was her voice that stepped up and she shut that down, and how much she's used her platform simply because you know how we are. If it's not football, basketball, baseball, boxing, until the Olympics comes, we don't pay no attention. I had no idea how influential, how she'd been using her platform the same way LeBron been using her platform. So God bless the girl. Yo, I'm out. And guess what, team? I'm sorry. Since I know some of y'all hating on me, now y'all handle that.
Right.
Y'all can't. My bad. Y'all can't. Y'all can't handle that.
Uh-oh.
My bad.
Great.
La 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 la. Frank is back.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we hear you, Frank. Welcome back to the show, man.
You know it was bad. Frank came back in another house.
Oh, you a dumbass. Yo, Frank, you be proud. We kept the topic kind of on sports. So what do you? Yeah, what do you think about Pornhub? No, I'm playing. We can see you, but you still kind of freezing up.
What did I say? Cut it out. Can you hear us, Frank?
It must be the weather.
Yeah, man, but we hear you now, Frank. So say something, man. Oh, he froze again. Lord, have mercy.
Hey, Fig, I got to tell you something. You know how our brain is always fixed on comedy, right? Like no matter what we do in talent, no matter and business, Billy, you think the same way.
Yeah.
Talent just yelled at his dog and said, "You heard what I said." And I realized when people own dogs, they talk to them like they really people for real. And he looked like, "You heard what I said, right?" "No, I didn't. I don't know what you said, dog."
You see me trying to do a sports show. This one,
you gotta realize, bro, they are people.
No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right.
So they got phrases in this house that they know, like if I say stop, you got a puppy in here, so he's always wanting to play. So he keep antagonizing the other ones, and it ain't until I say what I say. But then they go, because that's right before that pop. What I say is the last thing you hear before.
Yeah, man.
I got big dogs. You got to check them, man. So what you think about that, Bully? What you think about that?
Well, I'm gonna say this to you. Simone Biles is the greatest gymnast who has ever lived. Point blank and period. You cannot argue it. And if you think I'm lying, name the other people on the team. Thanks for coming. So
there's a girl named Sarah. Stop playing. Stop fronting on Sarah. Stop playing.
Yo, like the thing of it is, and I've said this before, she does so much that most people will never be able to reach her level. And I think that people don't understand, like talent will understand this. I know Mike understands this. When you ecosystem, your dog just don't like what the hell I got to say. When you're the ecosystem and everybody is eating off of you, you know, you can't take a day off. You can't have any type of breakdown. And Mike, you understand this from dealing with your issues. And, you know, like we can't say we're depressed, but I don't know one comedian that doesn't have any mental health issues. I don't know one comedian that does not have pain. And so when you're on the global stage, right? And everybody's looking to you because y'all don't know the rest of them, right? Like y'all don't know the other blowfish. All y'all know is Hootie. You see what I'm saying? She is Hootie for the world. And she is the leader of a team that is the most racist country on the face of the planet. So they're looking for any reason to discredit her or anything because they can't get her on skills. So now people are like, oh, she's not a hero. No, yes, she is, because she's making it okay to say, I need to prioritize what's going on in the 2 square feet of real estate between my ears. And I don't give a rat's ass if you like it or not.
And what I love about it, when Fig said she was in the middle of a rotation and she realized that she had missed whatever she had to do. Every comedian here, when your mind ain't right, you ever be in the middle of a joke on stage and you're like, yo, what am I doing? Like you're in the middle of it and you're not even there. You're like, you're like, and in the back of your mind, you're like, what am I doing here today? Like I shouldn't even be on the stage today right now. And mind you, we can't break our neck. All we can do is not have a good show. So the fact that she stepped up, and you know what would be funny in the back of her mind if I'm just saying hypothetically, I'm just putting this out there. This is not true. There's no facts behind this. I would love it hypothetically if she did it because y'all really don't appreciate what I do for this whack ass team.
You know they got that.
You know what I'm saying? It would make my heart, it would give me joy. That she was like, you know what? And she put that little stuff on her and she cleaned off the chalk. It's like, you know what? That's that. I'm going home, y'all. Oh yeah, and I got a headache. That's why.
Right.
Bitches. Yeah. Like, go handle on
it.
It
was like, so I'm not that important? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Try and do this without me. How about that? Why don't you try and do this without me?
Call Mary Lou Retton.
Do y'all remember the first time LeBron was in Cleveland?
Yeah.
And LeBron, like, they would go to the playoffs, and every time LeBron sat down, the rest of the team was like, what we do?
No, you know what it's like? You know what business? It's like when he lost to Boston and he had it, and he was coming off the court, and he takes the jersey off, and everybody knows I'm out. I'm going to Miami right now. Go have fun.
You know what's funny about that? This is one thing that nobody talks about. I know they was jumping on Simone Biles and Michael Phelps. Who is it? Oh God, man. Kevin Love, PG-13, all about mental health. LeBron James, they said the last year in Cleveland, when he lost to Boston, they said the reason that he had such a bad game, like 2 games where he had a bad game, they said he was having a mental breakdown and he had to be sedated before he played the games.
Dog,
if that ain't mental health, I don't know what it is.
I remember 2 things about LeBron that nobody brings up again. Well, they do bring this up, but behind the scenes. One announcer brought this up when he was in the playoffs and found out about that Delonte West situation, allegedly, with his mom. I would have tapped out on that.
I think that's when he had to be sedated. I think that was the same time.
And then the second one was when he finally beat Boston. Yeah, when he finally beat Boston, he beat Boston in the Boston Garden. They put the camera to him, and they were having, I think Boston was on a run, and literally he sat down on a bench and did a meditation thing. I don't know if y'all remember when the camera showed him, and he was really on some, all right, let's get this.
When Delonte West, when he found out about Delonte West, his mother had to be sedated.
Yo, is it okay?
His mother was sedated. So this puts another question in perspective, though, because do we put too much on these athletes? Like, look at I watched the interview because everybody was surprised. I'm gonna switch to football real quick. Everybody was surprised when Megatron retired, right? Because it came out there, it was real, just in the middle, matter of factly, and everybody's like, Megatron, like, because he was still, to us, he was productive. He was top receiver.
Yes.
But in his interview, the man said he get up in the morning, can't walk. He said they had to shoot so much drugs in him, and he was pointing out certain games in the playoffs. He was like, yo, if you look at this game and this great thing that happened here, he's like, I literally couldn't walk. They'll take me in, they'll will me in, they'll shoot like pounds and pounds of that shit in my legs just so I can go out there and take the field and play the game. But he said, let's say that's a Sunday. When I wake up Monday or Tuesday, he said, I literally cannot get out of my own bed and walk.
No, that's crazy. That's some of the punishment that football players take on a weekly basis, man, being out there on that field. They said a collision on a football field is like being in a car crash. Mm-hmm. So imagine if you're on the field all Sunday long, every time you run into somebody, because these guys, I mean, you know, a lot of us played football on a smaller level.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Man. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are in the best shape. They're the biggest, the strongest, the fastest. So can you imagine having 10, 15, 20 car crashes on a Sunday and then try and get up Monday morning and think that you're going to be normal or regular?
Yeah. Can't happen. The thing is, you ain't never been in my car while I was drinking. No, I'm playing. That was bad. That was bad. That was bad. No, take that back. Rewind that. Edit that out. Edit that out.
I have.
Come to think of it,
you're an inspiration to all of us.
They don't call him the Green Bottle Legend for nothing. Yeah. Yo, did y'all hear about Lamar Jackson?
Well,
What
hold on. Wait, on the talent topic, if we expect too much out of these players? I think we honestly do, but the reason why we do it is our problem because we live in a country. We literally there are people with no life who live their entire lives through sports.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love sports. And I ain't the only one. When your team loses on Sunday, you really can't watch ESPN because you feel like only your highlight gets shown of your team losing. Like we all got to take like Monday, Tuesday off. But when people are that invested, no matter how much money you make, they expect too much out of you because you're literally affecting their lives.
Can I tell you how bad I got it? This is crazy. You know, everybody know I'm a Knicks fan. Mm-hmm. Do you know I don't watch the Knicks games live? I do not watch a Knicks game live. I always record my games, and depending on how bad they lost or whatever, that's when I watch the games. If they win, then I'm definitely watching. If they lost, it all depends on how much. Because I go through it, man. My team lose, I'll be like, man, I can't watch this, B. I just can't.
I hope I got these letters. I hope I got these letters right. What type of TD syndrome do you have? Like what? Like it affects you that much?
Yo, I can't.
Like, you got a life.
I be pissed, man. I be so mad. It ain't even funny.
Yo, next time you do that, just smoke weed and look at that picture behind you for like 3 hours. And I promise you will say
that ain't gonna make it
better. Yo, Frank paid and upgraded his Wi-Fi.
Frank, what up, man?
That's not even funny, man. That's not even funny. You know what it is? You know what it is? It had to be. I did this new update with Apple. You know what I mean? My computer been acting up ever since last night. First, I thought it was the weather because it's really bad out here. But it is what it is. I don't know what you guys talked about, but we're gonna start the show a little bit later now. So I'm gonna start out first with the show, man, and I'm gonna start with you, Talent. Y'all can see me perfectly. Everybody hear me perfectly. Everything good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. All right. Here it is. The first thing I heard this morning, I haven't seen it on the news yet, is that the Pelicans star Jackson Hayes got arrested for domestic abuse last night, got into a fight, a real bad physical fight, arguing and everything else with his girl. Here's the worst part. The police show up at his door, and he starts beating down the police. He had to get literally manhandled by 3 other police officers, and he ended up, I'm not even sure if he got bailed out yet. As of now, at the last time I heard, he didn't get bailed out yet. But Talent, we were talking about domestic abuse. We were talking about a whole lot of issues and everything else with these athletes and stuff like that. Now, another Pelican star who people are trying to build around, Zion, gets into an issue. The Pelicans are literally saying, this is another issue we have with the team. What's your thoughts about this, Talent? Talk to me. What you think?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He added a couple of more restraining orders to his repertoire. Because you don't went from beating her ass to the cops' ass. That's a lose-lose situation. You're right though. That's a Pelican. It's going to affect what they're trying to build over there. But I mean, any sport and any athlete can get caught up in this domestic thing. I think pretty much, bro. If it's proven to be, in this case, it seems like it's because you start beating up the cop. I mean, that's your ass, man. He's gonna have to pay, the consequences like anybody else. He's messing up the whole team, bro.
Yeah, that's what I say. Fig, what's your thoughts?
It's funny. I think he was doing it just to get his name out there because I don't know who the hell that is. I ain't got what's his name? Like I have no idea who that is. I mean, I know Lonzo Ball. I know Zion Williamson. The big dude that looked like he played Aquaman. I don't know who this dude is that got beat up by the cops or beat the cops up or whatever. Like, who is this guy? What position does he play?
He plays foul forward, and he is supposed to be one of the building block stars of what they're trying to do around Zion. This dude is supposed to be the future of what the Pelicans are trying to do. I mean, we'll see. Mike, Sean, what's your thoughts on domestic abuse again facing one of these athletes who basically are getting their name in the news? What's your thoughts?
I don't want to turn this into like episode of The Talk or The View, but let me tell you one thing in our cultures, Hispanic and Black cultures, we got to start realizing relationships between men and women. We got to this intensity that goes on that we have been brought up in, that an argument can turn. And I'm not saying that anybody's wrong. He's wrong if he did it, but we just are used to being in toxic relationships, and we've like romanticized that situation. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most dangerous things you can ever be in. And I don't know if anybody else has been in one before, but I have. And I wish these guys, when they came into the league, could actually have financial advisors and counselors to talk to them on what relationships you're in that are not healthy. And you might be the reason why they're not healthy.
That's a great point too. To the business bully, Mike made a great point, because a lot of us do get in toxic relationships and they carry over the relationship until they become a professional athlete. But what's your thoughts on this business? To the business bully, what's your thoughts on what's going on now with Jackson Hayes?
Stupid, dumb, moronic, stupid. I'm like this. If somebody can trigger you that bad, why are you giving them the gun? Like, if somebody can drive you that crazy, why are you giving them the keys? Like, at some point, you got to have a certain level of restraint and self-control, and don't act like you can't have it, because you have to have it on the court. Because, we grew up in an era where, Larry Bird and Dr. J was scrapping and nobody got a technical foul. Now, you can't even bounce a ball without somebody getting a tech. So if you can control yourself on the court, you can control yourself because your woman says you ain't shit. Like, being black in America means that your woman's going to say you ain't shit. I mean, sorry.
The honest to God truth. That's the honest to God truth. And the worst part about it is he made the situation worse by confronting the police. If the police came in, he said, "You know what? I'm out," and just left, it would have been all over. It would have been a he said, she said type of thing. But once you get physical with the police, bro, you just made the situation worse. And then he even risked his whole career. Challenge, you know what I'm talking about? He risked his career because the Pelicans now can cut him. He's not a big enough star where they need to keep him. You know what I mean?
I don't want to be like the rest of the white media. I've been in that situation. I'm a little dude. And I've been taken someplace by somebody where when the cops came. So it's not as easy as just control yourself. Like, sometimes you're in a situation where we don't know the whole facts of what he found out. And if he's wrong, he's wrong. But I'm just saying, when the white media gets it, they just go, he's a horrible person. He's really just a disgust. We all know we've been in a situation that we all could have been locked up in.
Mike, I'm not denying that fact. That's a definite fact. But when you're a professional athlete, right, and your family is relying on the income that you're bringing into this family and everything else, you do have to have some kind of restraint. So when the police show up the door, because automatically, I don't know about you all, but when the police show up, I know they automatically think I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So I have to hold myself to a different accountability. That's the way I automatically know, because they're looking for the matchstick to arrest you. If I'm wrong,
I mean, Mike is right. At the end of the day, you're a human being, and everybody can be pushed to that point. I mean, we don't have to tell each other that. We've lived through how many cases, from the OJs to everybody, where they're in these situations because one thing led to another, and they couldn't control themselves. Look at the young man. I just watched the documentary yesterday on Lorenzen Wright from Memphis. Mystery in Memphis. It ended up being his wife and one of her lovers that killed this young dude in a little domestic thing. You know what I mean? And nobody knew until one of the culprits, divulged some information, because he didn't get hit off with his money. But this comes from a toxic relationship. I think they got 4 or 5 kids left behind down there.
Yeah, and it's ugly situation. But since you're speaking on our situation, man, me and my Pelican briefs, right? Because for the business bully and Mike, Sean, what you guys are not familiar with is when I come up with some kind of idea and everything else, Rodney Perry labeled it a Pelican brief. So I got a new Pelican brief. This is my new Pelican brief for today. I was watching the Deshaun Watson situation, all right? And Talon, I'm going to throw it to you first. I was watching the Deshaun Watson situation. Deshaun Watson shows up to camp this morning. He's throwing the football. He's interacting with the team and everything else. Here's the thing that nobody's talking about. That's never been done on a situation of a player who's in his situation. He's facing 22 counts of misdemeanors that the police are now involved in 10 of their counts and everything else. The normal team would normally the team would sit your behind down because they don't want you to get injured, because everybody knows he wants to get traded. He's trying to get traded. Now, here's the thing. If he gets injured, right, he wants to leave. Houston really wants him to stay. If he gets injured, what happens to him? You know what I mean? He literally lowers his value, and the team says, okay, well, we tried to trade you, but you decided to play and get hurt. And now you ruined your own chance, so now you have to stay. That's my thought. I think it's literally a ploy that the Houston Texans are doing by saying, "Oh yeah, you want to play? Go ahead." That's my thought. What's your thought? That's my Pelican brief. What's your thought, Talent?
No, I agree with that. I think it ain't what it seems to be. Because like you're right. If you were on the on a trading block and I'm getting rid of you, I'm watching and guarding. If nothing goes wrong because you're an asset that I need that's worth a lot. The fact that he's out there and he's mingling and he's throwing balls and working out, I think it's all for the media. I think that this thing may be another fake me out like Aaron Rodgers situation. You know what I mean? The fact that he's out there, that's probably sending a bigger message than all the statements released. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I just want to take a pause before I throw it to Fig and say, while my internet was going out and everything else, Aaron Rodgers has been doing a live broadcast for the last 26 minutes to the media. I'm sure we're going to hear about all of that in a second. We'll circle back to the second. But Fig, what's your thoughts on this, man? Do you think honestly that there's an inside ploy going on with literally, the Houston Texans? And if so, why is Deshaun literally out there practicing with the team? All he had to do was show up, and he wouldn't get fined at $50,000. All he had to do was show up. But for him to be on the team, out doing drills and everything else right now, first day, makes no sense to me. I think there's more of it to that than I see. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Well, basically, what I believe is that first, I believe it was all a ploy from the very beginning. So I think they probably told him, you go out there, show your face, and play and act like you're going to be with the team, and rescind these "I want to be traded" rumors or demands, and we'll make these charges go away. Because we talked about this almost ad nauseum about the owner of the Texans, the person who brought the charges, the attorney who is representing these 22, 23, 24, however many women it is his next door neighbor. Mm-hmm. And nothing came out until he made trade demands. So, dude, seriously? So I think what they're saying is, if you want these charges to go away, play.
All right, Mike Sean, check this out. It's unusual, right, that he's playing, but is there a coincidence that he's playing today and not even 2 days ago, 24 hours, 48 hours ago, 10 more women came up and started, went to the police to file so-called issues, and 2 of them brought in new charges to him literally 48 hours ago. You think, is there any type of coincidence here? What's your thoughts, Mike?
No, I think it's a par for the course. I think number one about him playing in practice, that might have to do with more of Deshaun Watson people. His people might want him to be seen on the football field throwing a football so it can stop people from thinking about other things. And they want to remind everybody, he is a great quarterback. And with the new cases coming up, it's not going to stop. And Business Bully can talk about this more. If you research what went on with Bill Cosby, there will be more people added to the list. And the closer we get to the first football game of the season, there will be like another 10 or 15 new people putting a civil case against him. Mark my words. Not saying he's innocent or guilty. I'm just saying this is the tack that goes down every time we get in one of these situations.
Business Bully, go.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be funny and no disrespect, but there's a reason they call it Me Too, right? It's like, oh, there's a check. Me too. You saw it with Tiger Woods. You saw it with Shaquille O'Neal. Let's not forget about that, because Gloria already went after Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal just settled with her, gave her some bread. With this situation, the closer we get to playing time, I wholeheartedly agree. You're going to see more women come out of the woodwork. But I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't 45 women by August 5th.
Wow. You really seriously believe 45 women? Okay.
I seriously believe that 45 women will come forward. I don't seriously believe 45 women.
Okay, let me ask you this, Talent. I'm going to start with this. We're going to keep on the subject for a second. I want to ask you this, Talent. Do you think that Deshaun Watson even showing up to camp is a major distraction to the team? Because let's look at the Houston Texans as a whole. They got a new coach. They got a new GM. They got a whole bunch of new staff. I mean, almost the entire staff who came in with the new coach is all new. The new GM came in. But Deshaun Watson, the team saying, Deshaun Watson, yeah, you can come in and play. That's not going to be a distraction to the team amidst of these 22 allegations that's going on, and you showing up on the field. I think it's crazy to me. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it probably will be most likely. But on the flip side of it, you have to deal with the technical part of it. The technical part is I'm still signed to this team. I'm still this team's starting quarterback. And until otherwise, we have to play our roles out. So if that means showing up and, being here for maybe another week, 2 weeks, a month, don't matter. But on paper, you have to go by what you're signed to do. Because we all know, if you don't, that's just fining them every game and every practice. So you got to show up and play the part.
Fig, a distraction to the team?
We talking about the Houston Texans. What distraction? The whole damn team is a distraction. They ain't gonna win. We mean distraction. Like all of a sudden, we're a good team, and Deshaun Watson being out here is a distraction that's gonna make us lose. You're gonna lose anyway.
Mm-hmm.
With or without Deshaun, you're gonna lose because you the Texans.
Most definitely. Okay, Mike, distraction?
Oh yeah, it's going to be a distraction. It's going to be a media circus, and a lot of players are going to be answering questions about something they know nothing about. And every question is going to be, "What do you think about Deshaun being on the field?" And what do you think about this and that? I just want to say it makes you realize how incredible. We all know Kobe Bryant is one of the best of all time. But I think sometimes it reminds you when he was accused of those allegations, how that man went to court and fought for his life and still balled out on the basketball court and was proven innocent. Just reminds you of, once again, the mentality that Kobe Bryant had. Hopefully Deshaun Watson can have that same mentality if he's innocent and get through this.
Or Pelican brief minor note right there. It could show you how powerful the Los Angeles Lakers are on the NBA with the community around holding the press accountable too. Could be that too. You know what I mean? Because Kobe Bryant at that time was the biggest star in the league when that was going on. You know what I mean? And that would have hurt the brand, the NBA brand itself, logo, all that. Business. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a situation where it's not going to hurt the team that much. I think that this is just part of it. Every 5 minutes, like at this point, if you don't have a scandal, people are shocked. Like everybody except for Obama has had a scandal with some type of sexual harassment, sexual assault. You pinch my butt. Like Cuba Gooding Jr., for Christ's sakes. Like every time you turn around, like the lamest, most softest, most, nonsensical, or scrubby ass team player all of a sudden, it is a sexual predator. Like there's so many sexual predators. We need to start giving out licenses to use penises out here. Like it's getting absolutely ridiculous how common this is. I don't really see this being a big deal to the Texans.
You know what I said a long time ago? We are literally getting ready to get to the point where before you have sex with a woman, you're going to have to videotape it, video record it. You have to have a camera phone.
What? Frank? This is why No. This is why Michael Irvin got off. They charged Michael Irvin and a teammate, and the lady said they raped her. Michael Irvin was married at the time. He videotaped it. He brought it into the courtroom. He didn't care. He didn't care he was married. They pressed play. Yeah, they pressed play, and that judge was like, dismissed. And I'm telling everybody. I tell these young boys in their 20s right now. This game is crazy now, and I feel bad. I feel bad for the victims, and there are a lot of predators out there who are raping women who deserve to be in jail. Fellas, be very careful. Them one night stands that we tell stories about that are so legendary. All it takes is for somebody to turn that around and said, "I didn't say yes to it." And now you're facing 15 years in jail. So just be careful.
That's why you're making my point. That's why I said we're getting to the era now where all these young boys need to start. They record everything now on TikTok and everything. They record everything now. They might as well start recording their sexcapades.
They do. They got a video camera and prepaid legal.
I'm just saying they better start doing it. But now let me move on to the next thing, man.
Because I realize case by case, state by state, though, with that.
Yeah, that's true. But let me talk about something else I saw that I want to make sure we talk about because I didn't see too many people talking about. This is what I call the James Harden rule. The NBA is now starting to implement something they call the James Harden rule. This is what they're going to do. They're calling it, they're forbidding non-basketball moves to draw fouls. We before the business bully and Mike Sean jumped on the show with us, me, Talon Figman, arguing about James Harden and LeBron James and all these dudes doing these moves that draw fouls when you're shooting and you jump into people and everything else. Now they're getting ready. NBA is now starting this upcoming season. They're going to implement this rule right now. They're literally calling it, the nickname is James Harden foul rule. They're calling it that. I'm going to ask you, Talon, do you like where the NBA is going with this or what's your thoughts on that? Can't hear you, Talon.
It's a slippery slope, first of all, because there's a lot that goes into this, man. When we look at all of these non-basketball moves to get fouls. It's a lot of them. And what makes it even worse that it does have a nickname of the James Harden rule. That means you've been letting him get away with it. That means you know it's him. You know he's the number one culprit of the shit.
Yeah.
That you made a rule later on. And it's okay, we're gonna stop it now. We're gonna call it the James Harden rule. You culpable. You are admitting to for all this duration of however long you've been getting away with it. You let it happen. That is despicable to me, first of all. But it's so many tricks that fit under that rule. It's going to be very interesting to see them try to enforce this at this stage of the game.
Okay, to Fig, because you complain about this all the time, so I know you gotta love this rule, Fig.
Oh, I do, man, and the fact that talent brought in the Bugs Bunny, despicable. Yo, man, listen. I'm so tired of these phantom fouls and flopping, and I haven't seen so many NBA players on the floor in all my life. Every time a guy takes a shot, he ends up on the floor. Like, what is wrong with it? Why can't they stand up? Finally, you're going to legislate this? Like Talon said, you've been letting them get away with it because you already knew that they were getting away with it, and you let it happen. And here's the worst part about it is when you let a guy get away with something that you know is fake, you do a disservice to the other team because the other team is the one that's being penalized. They need to fix this because here's another problem. Now that the United States team has gone into the Olympics and they play in all these other countries, those referees don't allow that. And that's why the United States is having a little difficulty getting their footing when they play national teams because they're used to getting these phantom calls and preferential treatment. So now that you're going to take it out, maybe it'll help the United States when they go to play internationally.
Mike Sean, there's a good point that Fig brought up because hand checking is allowed overseas. You know what I mean? Like, is hand checking allowed? The phantom calls and everything else that the NBA started, you know, they literally started this rule and everything else. But overseas, these NBA players are having problems dealing with the new rules or the different rules, I should say. What's your thoughts?
Well, the hand check rule, like, quiet is kept low key. That hand check rule changed a lot when they took the hand checking out of basketball. Like that changed a lot. But listen, I know everybody wants to get on James Harden, but that shouldn't just be called the James Harden rule. It should be called the James Harden / Steph Curry / Trae Young / every jump shooter who has a jumper who jumps up and they've mastered it and can lean 2 feet to the right on a 3-point shot, and 2 feet to the left, or moving like just. All you got to do is call it straight up and down. Take a jumper. Your shot action should be for a shot. If I see you lean, you don't get the call. Matter of fact, the call's on you. I think it's a good rule because we're getting people in foul. We're seeing basketball players who are basketball players behind him and just straight up stops at half court and then gets bumped into and the ref has to call it. I don't know how they're going to call all this, but I think for jump shooters, your jump motion should be up and down, pause, but no kicking legs out. And, you know, Steph Curry's a master at it. I think it would be good for the game and keep people more in the game instead of getting stars in foul trouble early in the second quarter.
Now to the business book, I'm gonna say this to you. I don't know if you saw the playoffs, right? But I think they were trying it out in the playoffs too because it changed the outcome for a couple of games when a couple of players. I think James Harden got caught doing it. He looked, you know, a couple of times he got caught out there where he didn't get a call the way he wanted to. Steph Curry did the same thing. I mean, all the big names he just mentioned and everything else. These guys tried it, and the refs didn't call it because I think they were trying out the rule during the playoffs that we just saw. You know, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm gonna say this, and I know this is it's not going to be very popular, but that's okay. I don't really care. First thing I want to say is it's basketball. This ain't nothing new. Like, look, there are folks who will sit up here and do whatever they have to do. Like, I remember being, watching my brother play ball in college and whatnot, and he played ball overseas for a little bit. The one thing that I know is they were like, yo, go get fouled. Like, this is not a new thing. Now, people are being real theatrical with it, and let's face it, James Harden is kind of but I mean, just the dramatic level this dude has, like, he needs to be starring opposite somebody, like a Barbara Streisand or one of these huge actors, because he's just phoning it in, he's just feigning it, and he's horrible with it, but he plays it up. And that's the problem. It's not that you're doing little dirty, underhanded tricks, because Jordan pinched people, Patrick Ewing, would do little stuff. Like, there's all of these different things. Hand checking ain't new. It's been around. All of these things happen simply because the softness that it's done nowadays makes it so obvious. It's disgusting. And that's the problem with basketball. Basketball has gotten softer than drugstore cotton, and nobody wants to talk about it because there's not any manhood in basketball. I said what I said.
Yo, it's absolutely right. Right now, like what Fig said, like actually all you guys are right, man. The end game has changed so much. It really bothers me. But you know what? Now you have these new NBA stars who now you wonder why they're so soft. You know what I mean? Because they grew up in the last 10 years under this softness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, y'all, let's stop acting like the Detroit Pistons play defense. They just threw elbows at people back in the 90s. That's not defense. Like,
that's defense.
I hate when people be like, that was great. Half those players in the late 80s and early 90s couldn't play a minute in the NBA right now. Tree Rollins would have never been drafted in the NBA. None of those guys could cover a pick and roll right now. Like, it was butchery. Now, I know it's going to the extreme, but that's not defense. That's just a bunch of butchers who stayed in the league for like 11 years killing people. I love Charles Oakley. I love him. He could not cover a pick and roll right now in the NBA. He couldn't play 5 minutes.
I could kick back with that and everything else, because now you're trying to go down the whole path for another hour conversation about the NBA, about the NBA in the 90s and the NBA today. No, we've had this conversation. It's a great point. Remind me to bring it up again when we doing this box seats on the tour and everything. Remind me to do that, because we can talk about that. Because honestly, I do not agree. I wish Rodney Perry was here. I do not agree. I think those boys could ball out today. I think they could play. They might not get as many minutes, but I think they could. But speaking of,
I think the stars could, for sure.
I don't want to talk about softness and everything else. I don't want to talk about this, but Ben Simmons is now in the conversation because the Miami Heat is making a play for Ben Simmons. Quiet as kept. People aren't talking about that either. I don't know why ESPN picks these certain stories. They like to talk about Aaron Rodgers because I guess it gets the most views and everything else, but nobody's talking about Ben Simmons right now has been contacted to the Philadelphia 76ers by the Miami Heat. And the Detroit Pistons is offering, literally, the Detroit Pistons is talking to Philadelphia saying, you know what? We could be interested in giving you our first round draft pick because the draft is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Draft is tomorrow. Talent. Should Detroit get that first round draft pick for Ben Simmons? Should Ben Simmons go to Miami? What's the play you see here for Philly with Ben Simmons?
Miami. He might do him some justice in Miami for himself, but you go to Detroit, bro, you right back in purgatory by yourself. The man needs to be around. We talked about this on several shows. He needs to be around players that can help his game. You know what I mean? Not guys that he's going to lead. He's clearly shown us with the opportunity to lead. He's not ready exactly for that right now. He has to go around other leaders, learn how to lead first. So Miami's a good spot where Detroit's just going to turn into a purgatory, bro.
Okay, all right, Fig. What you think about this? You think it'd be a good play for the Sixers to move him to Miami? You think it'd be a good play for them to move him to Detroit for that first round draft pick?
I'm not sure who Miami would give up for him, but they ain't got the greatest shooters over there. Like, they top players, I think Goran Dragic is going to leave, which is one of their shooters. Jimmy Butler ain't the greatest shooter in the world. Bam Adebayo ain't the greatest shooter in the world. So why not add Ben Simmons to a team with no shooters? This way, they won't even score. You ain't even got to worry about them scoring because none of them can shoot. All they're going to do is just run up and down the court and not score. What kind of damn? I don't even understand why you would even go for a dude who ain't going to shoot the damn ball. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Ben Simmons, and how you gonna play the game? You're supposed to put the ball in the basket, and that's not what they good at.
It's called suicide. They run up and down the court.
Hey, so Mike, I'm gonna ask you this, Mike. Honestly, in my opinion, if I'm Detroit, I keep that first round draft pick. I don't even have a conversation with Philly, but they must see something in Ben Simmons that we're not seeing. But Detroit is literally shopping. They're having a conversation with teams about that first round draft pick. Ben Simmons is in that conversation, bro. What you think?
No, that's it. No, if you do this trade, y'all are crazy. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I live in Jersey near Philly and I live in Dallas. I go back and forth. I've been irritated with Ben Simmons for 3 years. For 3 years. I'm not even asking Ben Simmons. This is what's irritating. Ben Simmons won't shoot because he doesn't want to be embarrassed. That's what's great about Greek Freak. He will shoot an air ball from a three-pointer and not give a damn. And say, guess what? Later in the game, you're going to see another one of those. I cannot believe that they've allowed this guy to sit on a team and decide for himself, which is what he's done. I'm not going to shoot. I can't believe Doc Rivers didn't bench this dude during the playoffs. I can't believe Doc Rivers sent him out there for an entire year. And when the playoffs came, tried to act like he was surprised. Dude, this has been going on all year, Doc Rivers. And you still sent him out there. On the flip side, Ty Lue benched Patrick Beverly when Luka Doncic was giving him the business. Then he benched his center on the next round. Dog, like Ben Simmons, either start shooting or what you're going to do is when this contract is over, you're going to be a guy who's going to be a 6th or 7th man on the bench. And you're going to ruin your legacy, and it's irritating because you have every skill set to be a fantastic player. But you're spoiled, and you don't want to be embarrassed.
You know what? I love everything you just said, Mike, except there's one thing that you left out. The Philadelphia 76ers owner would be in Doc Rivers' ass if he didn't play him for the amount of money they're paying him. He would be in his ass like a wrench. You know what I mean? How did Ty Lue get to bench people, and how did Ty Lue get to step to LeBron James in the locker room and call him out? Different ownership, bro. Different ownership. The Philadelphia 76ers owner, you listen, you down in Philly. You know how that guy gets down. He doesn't play that. You know
but when I take the job with Doc Rivers' resume, when I take the job initially, I go, we got a problem.
Right.
And if you're not going to let me fix this, then y'all going to have a bigger problem. That's all I'm saying.
No disputing that. To do business bully, what you think should happen? Do you think Detroit should even be shopping that first round draft pick? Do you think Ben Simmons would be good in Detroit, Miami, or keep him in Philly? What's your thoughts on this whole conversation?
Choosing between Philadelphia and Detroit is like choosing between gonorrhea and chlamydia. That's just listen, and I'm a Philadelphia 76ers fan, and I'm gonna tell you
chlamydia is a lot better. Chlamydia is a lot better. Chlamydia is a lot better.
I can't believe this, dude.
Here's my issue. Philadelphia has a problem, and the problem with the 76ers and most Philly teams will just stick with the Sixers for a minute is piss poor management and very bad player decision making. We do this one guy at a time thing. Joel Embiid was going to be that guy, and then he kept getting injured, right? So then it becomes about Ben Simmons, right? We did this with Barkley. That's why Barkley left. We did this with Iverson. That's why Iverson left. We don't build a team. We say one guy is the team, and let's just go for it. And we keep getting on there like Charlie Brown versus Lucy in that football, and we get our asses kicked. Ben Simmons, in my opinion, should either stay put or take his talents to South Beach.
There you go, right? Yeah. See, now here's the thing. This is the #1 sports show out right now. Where can you go and hear chlamydia right next to gonorrhea on a sports show?
Yeah.
And one of the analysts say chlamydia is way better.
Way better.
Yeah.
No, because actually chlamydia doesn't affect the man in any way. Now it does do damage for a woman. For a man, you can walk around with it.
Yeah,
wow, you are
Michael Sean is making this sound like secret deodorant. It's strong enough for a man, but it's made for a woman.
pH balance for a woman. I just want to know how Michael Sean knows so much.
I've lived my life on the road, homie. I'm all transparency here, homie.
All right, let me keep the show going because I wanted to fit this topic in. This time is, rolling out again on us. I keep trying to talk about Colin Sexton, man, and Colin Sexton is about to be literally.
Wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute. We went from chlamydia to gonorrhea. Now you're talking about Sexton?
Yeah.
Yo, Fig.
I want to get Colin Sexton in, bro. So, Talon, I'm going to ask you, man, do you think Colin Sexton is going to be shipped to Golden State, bro? Do you think that's going to happen? Because honestly, they're having conversations, man, and I don't think Colin Sexton is going to stay with Cleveland, man. They're shopping him heavily right now, and right now, Golden State has the most interest. What's your thoughts?
Nah, I think that he's definitely out of Cleveland, but I think Golden State in the back of their mind they're playing like a chess game right now, and that's like a plan B. So they got to express the interest just in case their plan A option falls through. They got something bigger on deck. And I think that this is like a setup for a plan B. Because if you look at how teams do in the offseason when they go shopping, they always talk heavily and put their interests out there, on the trade block. But they have a plan A and a plan B. The question is, who are you in that? You know what I mean? I think he's plan B.
All right, Fig, 60 seconds. Talk to me.
Yeah, man, I love Colin Sexton, man, but he's a PG, and I don't see what he does in Golden State. You got Curry, you got Thompson, and Draymond brings up the ball. So is Sexton gonna come off the bench? And who they giving up for Colin Sexton? I thought they was going after a big.
Great point. Mike Sean.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I will say this about the Ben Simmons situation. If there's one team that would know how to use Ben Simmons, is the Golden State Warriors.
Yes, sir.
And be clear, with all the shooting that they do have, they could have Ben Simmons use his defensive specialties on that team. Be careful. I'm going to say this again. Golden State is about to do something crazy before this draft, and it's going to shake up the whole NBA.
I agree with that one.
Yes, sir.
Business Bully, your thoughts?
I'm going to be very honest with you. Like, at this point, we need to recognize the fact that there is only one thing that matters: the money, right? And you need to go where the bread is, because if you want to go where the legacy is, well, you shouldn't be here anyway. So, either go to Golden State, go to Miami. But if you're going to stay here, realize that, you're really never going to win a championship. Never. And I love this team. It's never happening.
All right, y'all. Thanks, y'all, for watching the show. We got to be out. Sorry for my connection today. I don't know what happened, but honestly, I swear it's that new Microsoft Sur update. It's been messing me up for hours. Anyway, Talon, talk to me about this weekend, bro. Talk to me.
Hey, man, come on, man. Join me this weekend. We're in Atlantic City at the Claridge. My 30th anniversary in this thing called comedy. Email me for these last tickets we got. Boxy's going to be in the building doing a live version of everything. Talent at itsjustcomedy.com. It's star-studded all weekend long. I hope to see you in Atlantic City. Email me, get some tickets. Talent, it's just comedy.
Mike, tell everybody how they can follow you, bro.
Hit me at Mike Sean Comedy, all social media platforms. August 8th, Sunday, I'll be at the Arlington Improv, rocking out again. And that chlamydia comment, that happened when I was like 24, and I never went back to Buffalo. I never went back to Buffalo.
Fig, tell everybody how they can follow you.
Yo, you follow me on all social media platforms and Comedian Fig. I'm in Atlantic City for Talent's 30th comedy anniversary and Boxy's Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. The best and funniest damn sports show on TV. Ask your mama.
And Box Seats is replayed on Humor Mill Channel from 3 to 4. The Business Bully, talk to me. Tell everybody out there how they follow you, bro.
Absolutely. You can follow me at The Business Bully on all social media platforms. And of course, this Bill Cosby interview is coming up. Make sure you check out the clips. Bill Cosby's been posting them himself on his social. Well, not him, but his people, because, he's legally blind, but you get the issue. So thanks so much for having me. Hopefully I'll be in Atlantic City this weekend. We'll see what we can make happen. But congratulations to Town on 30 years. And thanks so much to Michael Sean for the sexual education I didn't get in 8th grade. You are the king of drip, sir.
I do my part.
Yo, that's the show. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to the Business Bully. Thanks to Talent. Thanks to Fig. Thank you all for watching. Again, apologies for this damn new update. Tomorrow we're going to be back at it. We got a lot more stuff to talk about tomorrow. We're going to follow with, obviously, this Aaron Rodgers stuff that it seems like the gift that keeps on giving, because I keep hearing and seeing some more stuff. Sick and tired of talking about it, but it's news, so we do that. The show's called The Box Seats. The channel's called The Humor Mill. We are on every day from 1 to 2, Monday through Friday, with the replay on the channel from 3 to 4. We appreciate y'all for watching. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll see y'all later. Peace.